Have you ever wondered whether the universe is trying to speak to us using not words, but the raw language of plasma, radiation, and energetic light? Before we unravel the newest data, you must first sit with a single unsettling fact. Every standard brightness model we have for comets collapses when confronted with Comet 3I Atlas. According to the equations, this object should have brightened in a predictable, almost boring curve as it approached the Sun. Instead, it has surged to nearly 5 times brighter than the most generous simulations predicted. This isn't a small anomaly. This is a violation so extreme it has forced astronomers to question whether 3I Atlas is truly a natural body or something far rarer. Why is this interstellar traveler suddenly erupting with violent plasma jets, branching arcs, and fractal-like streams of ionized gas that twist through the solar wind like electric roots? Are we witnessing a dormant mechanism activating after millions of years in the cold? Or are we staring at a completely unknown natural phenomenon, something so extraordinary that humanity has never documented anything like it? For now, we must follow the evidence wherever it leads. Today, the focus is 3I Atlas, because something massive has changed. Only days ago, observers recorded the comet ejecting multiple high-energy jets simultaneously, giving it a structure no one expected from a simple icy body. The first major confirmation came from a dawn observation on November 8th. 3I Atlas had already passed perihelion, its closest point to the Sun, yet instead of calming it erupted. If you look at the sky just before sunrise, you might glimpse it. But once the sun rises, the flood of light buries everything around it, making the comet virtually invisible. Observer Michael Jaeger noticed what no one could ignore. The comet appears to have multiple distinct plasma tails, each one behaving differently, as though controlled by separate subsystems of activity. Not long before that, another interstellar visitor, Comet Borisov, was observed disintegrating entirely around November 23rd. Its orbit was different, its path was harmless, but its sudden disappearance still shook observers. Atlas, however, did the opposite. On October 29th, 3I Atlas began expelling helium, a rare and unusual event for a comet. Then something in the deep layers of the nucleus shifted. Solar wind, radiation storms, and the increasing heat near the Sun triggered what can only be described as an awakening. Jets burst outward, dust erupted in chaotic waves, plasma tore from the nucleus in spiraling circuits. This suggests 3I Atlas isn't forming just one tail, but a dynamic multi-tail system, each part governed by its own physics. While it doesn't match the spectacular intensity of Comet AS6 Lemon, which hit perihelion around November 16th, Atlas is displaying something even more intriguing, intelligence-like structure within chaos. And all of this arrives at a moment when the Sun is entering the peak of its magnetic flip, the period that occurs roughly every 11 years. During this reversal, the Sun unleashes enormous pulses of energy, plasma storms, magnetic waves, and violent solar winds that spread across space like invisible tsunamis. Those storms are now blasting straight into the path of 3I Atlas, exactly as predicted months ago, and began striking the comet with full force on October 21st. Imagery shows the Sun's energy jets hitting Atlas almost deliberately, as if the star itself were shaking it awake. Scientists still cannot determine whether this is coincidence or part of some larger unknown cosmic cycle. What is Atlas? A helpless victim of solar violence? Or an activated node within a broader energy network of interstellar space? Only the data can tell us. The most recent image captured by Michael Jaeger sent immediate waves through scientific circles. At least 5 plasma jets are visible, 3 bright and 2 fainter branching out like electric limbs. But remember, what we're seeing is not the nucleus, only the luminous coma surrounding it. Inside that cloud lies the true core, still completely hidden. For months, 3I Atlas seemed dormant, even as solar storms battered it. But after October 21st, something changed. As radiation dug deeper into the icy shell, the internal gases exploded outward, dragging ancient dust into space at supersonic speed. Once ionized, these particles formed electric currents, plasma channels, and shock fronts, turning the region around the comet into a dense web of electromagnetic turbulence. As some readings from previous missions suggest, the magnetic field could spike to 300 nanotesla during such storms, a colossal force on a cometary scale. Strangely, one of Atlas's tails points toward the Sun, opposite the usual direction. That alone breaks decades of comet physics. The space around the object is now thick with plasma ripples, ionized grains, and distorted solar wind. almost as if 3i Atlas is breathing, pulsing, or reacting. Many observers now believe Atlas may not be a simple chunk of ice, but a reactive energy system, responding to cosmic forces in ways we do not yet understand. Fresh spectroscopic data suggests that 3i Atlas is evaporating violently, ejecting interstellar material deep into our solar system. Yet its origin remains uncertain. Some models trace its path back to Barnard's star, a small red dwarf in Sagittarius just 6 light-years away. With an entry speed of about 36 miles per second, it could have been ejected from that system only tens of thousands of years ago, but other models hint at something even more astonishing, that 3i Atlas could have drifted for billions of years from another region of the galaxy entirely. If that is true, then the dust and plasma now streaming from it may be older than Earth, older than the Sun, and may contain untouched cosmic matter from an era before our solar system even existed. Now heated by the Sun for the first time in eons, Atlas is exhaling that ancient material, blowing interstellar plasma into our environment. What effect could this have on Earth? Or the solar system's magnetic harmonics? We don't know. Some researchers speculate it may subtly alter the energetic resonance of the Sun-planet system itself. Stranger still, a few theories explore the possibility that cosmic matter influences biological consciousness. Water, the foundation of all life, has demonstrated the ability to store, react, and restructure itself according to energy, vibration, even emotional frequency at the quantum scale. Experiments with ice crystals have hinted that water responds to subtle energy fields, forming geometric patterns connected to environmental information. If the dust and plasma from 3i Atlas carry their own form of cosmic energy, could they influence the consciousness of life within the solar system? Before dismissing the idea, consider this. Comets are time capsules, and the theory of panspermia suggests that life seeds drift through the universe on comets and meteoroids. That makes Atlas not just a celestial visitor, but a potential carrier, and every jet it expels sends the ingredients of creation into our world. It feels as if space itself is feeding this thing, infusing it with elements born in the cores of long-dead stars, or mixed within the icy molecular clouds of systems we've never seen. Whatever 3i Atlas is interacting with out there, it's tapping into ingredients tied directly to the origins of life. And that's what unsettles scientists the most. Because right at the height of 3i Atlas's unusual activity, another visitor comet Borisov appeared between Earth and Atlas in early November, only to fall apart mere days after being detected. Its trajectory followed every rule in the book, perfectly modeled, nothing suspicious. But the timing, the placement, that brief moment where an object materialized between two active energy points, Atlas and Earth, then vanished as quickly as it arrived. It left astronomers asking whether Borisov was ever just a normal comet. Was it a fragment, a trigger, a message, or part of a chain of cosmic events building towards something the next several weeks might reveal? Because as 3i Atlas loops deeper into its perihelion arc, the coincidences keep stacking, and observers worldwide are bracing for a display that may not stay within the boundaries of known physics, one where light, energy, and perhaps even consciousness converge into something science has never formally acknowledged. Right now, the comet's position behind the Sun is limiting direct optical study. We can't see the full structure of its plasma or tail, if it even has one. From Earth, we only catch a sliver, shifted slightly off the perfect 180-degree alignment on October 21st. If 3i Atlas carried a tail at that moment, the Sun completely masked it, hiding it from every telescope pointed its way. By November 8th, the angle shifted a bit, but still most of its trailing material remained concealed behind that blinding solar curtain. Yet, despite this terrible viewing geometry, something impossible is happening. 3i Atlas is brighter than predicted, far brighter. Data from several observatories show its magnitude sitting somewhere between 9.0 and 9.5, even though models placed it near 11. That's roughly a 5-fold increase in brightness. A surge this dramatic doesn't fit neatly into standard comet behavior. And because the tail remains hidden, the idea has emerged that Atlas isn't radiating energy in the traditional sense. It may be producing directed plasma streams instead of forming one long dust tail. Images from instruments like SECICHE, CR1, and C3 reveal multiple rays of light erupting outward, not from the direction of the tail, but from around the sunward side. Several of these jets even flare off at angles that don't align with solar wind flow, breaking every expectation when compared with decades of solar activity records. And then comes the strange temporal link. On October 21st, when Atlas aligned perfectly between Earth and the Sun, one of the year's most powerful solar storms erupted. Enormous bursts of radiation and plasma launched from massive sunspot groups, most of them firing directly into the region of space where Atlas was passing. At least 3 major waves slammed into its trajectory, some hitting dead-on, others grazing the surrounding area. Those impacts appear to have triggered Atlas's current luminous outburst, causing it to glow with a sudden intensity and generating a complex pattern of plasma emissions. Now, as sunspots rotate across the solar surface, the direction of those energy discharges shifts, and Atlas, locked into the intersection zone, seems to be absorbing, redirecting, or reacting to plasma waves in real time. This has begged the question: is 3I Atlas simply a comet being battered by solar wind, or is it actively engaging with the sun's magnetic architecture? The rising brightness, the absence of a clearly defined tail, the directional jets, everything points to a phase of activity unlike anything conventional models can fully describe. Recent projections show 3I Atlas entering an extreme plasma-dominated state with minimal gravitational cohesion, as its volatiles, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, water vapor burst from its surface. They shoot out at supersonic velocities, immediately ionize, and become swept into the solar wind. This process ignites the comet into a luminous core surrounded by high-intensity plasma streams. When the solar storm struck, Atlas's ionized gases didn't just blow away, they interacted magnetically, creating a turbulent junction point between interstellar plasma and the magnetic field lines of our own solar system. Spectral data now hint that Atlas is venting materials with chemical signatures not typically found in local comets, possibly containing interstellar or even extragalactic markers. At this moment, 3I Atlas is still near Mars's orbital path. By November 23rd, it will slip out of that region and begin heading toward its closest approach to Earth on December 19th, a time predicted to be its most explosive phase. During that window, dust and plasma from Atlas could push deep into the inner solar system's plasma environment, generating unusual, possibly chaotic energy interactions. Astronomers around the world are watching closely because late November through December may produce the most spectacular and unpredictable plasma show we've seen in years. Interactions between Atlas, the Sun, the solar wind, and the cosmic magnetic web could create displays that defy everything we expect from a comet.